Wow. Hey everyone, welcome back to Shebo's podcast. Today's guest is Jules. Hi Jules.
Hello.
Welcome to my podcast. Thank you for being a guest.
Yeah, thank you. I'm appreciative of being here.
So Jules is an author and a speaker. So can you tell our listeners what inspired your book, The Making of a Woman?
You know, The Making of a Woman is the memoir of my life, and it actually started years and years ago, but the beginning of 2021 is where we really just put everything together, and she became, I guess, kind of her own entity halfway through, or probably, I want to say around probably October. I think that is when she first launched, the beginning of this month, actually.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. So have you gotten a lot of feedback from it?
I have, surprisingly enough. You know, when I first started this, I was like, all right, I want to write this down. I want to share my story. And it's mostly to reach the girl in the back of the room who thinks she's the only one.
Mhm.
I have been that girl so many times. And I remember distinctly how uncomfortable I felt, and how if I would have had a book like this, or another woman, you know, share those stories with me, that would have been a whole different experience. So that was the primary goal. So in other words, if I helped one girl like cross, you know, the swaying bridge per se, then I'm golden. But what's really happened is I'm getting feedback from both men and women. But I'm also getting questions from moms who are like, okay, Jules, so what do I do when my daughter wants to do this? Can you give me your thoughts? What is she thinking? So it's really kind of just starting this blanket approach, and it's really exciting. I've got to meet some really cool people.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, like when I saw you on I think it was Podcast Guest, then I was like, wow, I have to have her on my podcast. Like I was reading I was reading your bio and everything. I'm like, wow.
Thank
Like
you.
I inspired to be you. I'm wow. So can you give our listeners like a brief summary of your book?
If I can, keep in mind that that is a full lifetime of a book, but it pretty much, what it does is it captures two portions of my life. Now, I feel like I've lived multiple lives within this time frame, but the first portion of it, I was in a very large family. I became a stepfather. I had step siblings, and I was completely lost. I was completely lost. Prior to that, I was the only child. So this whole identity is changing. I'm learning what the rules are here, and then I'm learning about these secrets, and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know. And so what I did is I just went back into the shadows, and I got real small. And so that was survival through that first stage. And then what happens is I at the middle of all of it, drop out in ninth grade, and I pretty much flee. And what has happened now is I've taken these very adolescent level behavior skills, and now I'm bringing them into a semi-adult arena. So I have no guidance. I'm really not making the best decisions. And let's put a little icing on the cake that I come from a long line of alcoholics. So that is the way we soothe ourselves, is we drink. And so that's what happened. And this started to just propel, and we just got bigger and bigger. And it went on for, I think, about 19 years.
Wow.
And then I got sober. And in a nutshell, it was like, it wasn't that I just got sober. It's almost like all of the courage and the drive I had to survive before is actually what propels me today, which means I'm at like lightning speed of experiencing things. And the world of abundance is an understatement. You know, so that's really what the book is about, this huge transition from pretty much like, 0 to 100 in one lifetime. So, yeah.
It's crazy. Like, what are some of the things you've been through? Like, I'm like, wow. So you was an alcoholic, and how did you overcome that? Like, how did you become sober after going through that?
You know, in that first portion, one of the coping skills that I acquired was those layers of armor I kind of see them that way. Like I have all of these defenses and they're layers of armor and they keep me very safe. And so then as I moved into, that second phase of life, the minute everything happened, I honestly didn't ask for help to get sober. I was sitting in the back seat. I had two friends in the front seat, and I just nonchalantly said, I just wish I didn't drink so much. And I kid you not, those little ears in the front seat went up like antennas. And I was like, and they're asking me questions, and the other one's on the phone. And I was like, it was just kind of like, okay, wait, what's happening? Right. And within like a 30-minute window, I'm sitting in the rooms of recovery for the first time ever. And I didn't even know really what I was doing there. But it was this moment in time where all those layers just kind of fell to the ground. And it was like ice melting from my heart. The tears, they ran and ran for the whole hour. And I really could not pinpoint why. And from that point on, I decided I never want to go back. So the course of this, this life of recovery, the spiritual, journey that I've acquired along the way is, like what we do is we peel back all that stuff. We physically get sober that first year. Like the second year seems to be like where we get like mentally sober. Like we start making better decisions. By the third year, we're like scooting into this spiritual realization. And so during that process, what happened for me is I got to peel back all that stuff, get to the core, share it with somebody else, right? Clean it up. And then now I have a better scope and I have a better guidance system. So it's definitely a process, but it was learning, who am I? Like, who am I? We never asked that question, So those are some of and it's miraculous. It's miraculous to be able to come through all the way to this side of all of that.
Wow, that's amazing. And I was looking on your website, you also did modeling.
Yes. Yes, I'm a fitness model.
Yeah, how was that? Like, how were you like, I was like, wow, she's really fit.
Now, if you think about, we're back in the adolescent mind, and if you think about when we're in those stages of life, we are very much like, how do we look? What am I wearing? Remember makeup? We'd spend hours putting on makeup before we dare go outside, right? So like I still had that mentality where the way I saw myself and the way others saw me was a really big impact on who I was. And so at the age of 40, I was just like, I don't like these legs like anymore. I was wearing all these like contouring, pieces and Spanx and all. It was just, and so actually I wanted to go get the cellulite off my legs. That was the way this started. And so I progressed. I met with a trainer. Then I met with an IFBB pro, a professional bodybuilder. I met with her, continued all the way up to this year. I went to nationals in the NPC bodybuilding competition.
Wow.
In North of America. So Canada, United States, and Mexico, I placed in the top third in the figure division. Exactly. Like, so, but I mean, I think it roots from that dedication and that survival instinct that I lived in for so long. I just transferred it into this world or to the second world. And I mean, that's a lot of force. So I definitely have what it takes, we'll say, to accomplish goals like that.
Yeah, I tried fitness for a little bit and I couldn't do it because I keep eating stuff that's not right. And my personal trainer is like, so what'd you eat this weekend? I was like, pizza. He was like, what? So how did you stick with it? Like, how do you put your mind frame into I want this, I'm gonna get fit, but then you see like your favorite food like cake, cookies, and Like, how do you get your mind in that frame? Like,
Well, if you think about like when you go to school or when you go to college, you're a freshman, you've got all of these, fantastic inspirations about where you want to be, and you burn the midnight oil, you live on ramen noodles. I mean, you do whatever it takes, right, to meet that goal. And I had the same thing. So instead of eating ramen noodles, I have learned how to eat 6 small meals a day. How do I take in a gallon of water? I used to be a very small framed woman. And again, that kind of resembled who I was growing up. So now that I'm a strong woman with a body that I get to have some control over, I get to choose. There's a lot of healing that goes on with that as well. So I think, I don't know if it's because I love cake.
me too. Like, I just had donuts, and I'm like, do I really need these donuts?
And I know that if I I was out with my girlfriend last night for dinner, and she's like, do you want a bite of this, whatever, molting something or another? And I was like, girl, I get one bite. I cannot just have one bite. I mean, I'm going to inhale that whole thing. So please, let's not even open Pandora's box. So that's how I do it. I just don't.
I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna do that too, because I want a body like yours. Because I saw you, I was like, man, I want to wear that.
Yes, and do what I do.
So what are some of the things you speak about? Because you say you're a speaker. What are some of the things you go and speak about?
One of the most rewarding things that I get to speak about is behind the podium in the rooms of recovery. I get to share with people on so many different stages of recovery. Sometimes it's the relapse, sometimes it's the first day, and then sometimes it's the 30th year. There's just a piece of my story that will touch everyone in the room. And so to have that like energetic exchange I leave there with like this, almost like this mental high, you kind of like, you're just charged. I do also speak about, of course, fitness. That seems to be a big thing now as I'm getting older. More women are like, girl, how do you get those arms? So there's some
Mine are flabby. That's why I got on this big old shirt. Like, mine are jiggles and stuff. And I'm like,
yeah, I didn't think these are like bat wings or something. I'm like, I don't, what is that? A bat wing? I don't have a bat wing. Yeah. So they asked me about those sorts of things. Another awesome thing about me getting sober and really learning who I was and who I am was my understanding of alternative lifestyles. So I have a very open-minded marriage. And so with that, I come with experience. So I am able to educate within the BDSM community. So I think that things that once used to be things I would shame myself for, or, promiscuous, I was very promiscuous. Well, now that's called sexual liberation. Right. So it's some of that's what's kind of taking place. And so to be able, again, to share with people who feel that kind of lifestyle is alternative, and I guess that's the only word I can use because nothing else has been created, but, to teach people that you're completely normal, and to have that sort of desire is human. There's nothing, you are not broken. And so, and again, that's so rewarding to be in that space with somebody.
Yeah, I agree with you, because people always ask me, and my family always asks me, like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? I honestly don't know if I want that, because even though I'm 33, I like having fun. I like enjoying my life. I like having fun with stuff. So, I'm like, I don't know if I want that. And like what you just mentioned, like hiding and like not like, I'm trying to find a word for it, but like hiding it all in and being ashamed of it. Like, I like it that you're not like, don't be ashamed of it.
And, I think when I did feel the need to hold that in, because again, I was so consumed with what people thought of me. when I held it in, I realized now once I have it removed, but once I held that all in, I realized just how toxic that is for my body. But
Mhm.
even worse, what happens is it's not good. So it's going to come out. And for me, it came out in, rash behaviors or, inappropriate things I would have said. I mean, it comes out sideways.
Right.
So it's like, if I just, like bring that thing out into the light, like what is this? And why do I feel this way? Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. And I
Mhm.
hate the words, but it's so freeing. It's like, I'm not going to carry that around anymore. It's not my
Yeah.
shame. It's somebody else's shame.
Right, right. That's
Yes.
exactly how I feel now. Yeah, definitely 1,000%.
Yes. Yes.
So I want to thank you so much, Jules, for coming on my podcast today and chatting with me about your book.
Yes. This was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, I want to thank you all so much for listening to my interview with Jules. If you would like to purchase her book or see what other podcasts she's been on and other interviews or what she speaks about, you can go on her website. It's themakingofawoman.com. And you can go on there to purchase her book or to see, like I said, what other podcasts she's been on and her life story. She has it all on her website. Thank you all so much for supporting my podcast and for listening. I hope you all have a great day and make great choices. Bye.